Recording started.
What's up, everybody? My name is B-Max Anime, aka Brandon. This is episode 10 of Anime Dojo. Tonight we're going to be going through Hell's Paradise episode 12. We already finished Demon Slayer. We also have a special guest with us. Chris, would you like to introduce this lovely lady to the people?
This is my link. We both went to preview together. We both survived the horrors of the sands. But we here together to enjoy some anime and give some feedback. So I would like to welcome everybody to my link.
Miss Mahalia, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening?
Awesome.
So before we get into this, I'm gonna ask you this: what is your basis with anime? What's your favorite genre? How long you've been watching? Did you hear me, Mahalia?
I was on mute. My bad.
No, you're good.
I've honestly explored I've probably explored about 7 to 9 different genres of anime. I've honestly enjoyed them all.
Okay.
I'm not as involved as you guys, but I'm very good at watching and analyzing. So I'm a woman. Okay. What do you guys expect?
Have you watched this current season of Demon Slayer? This past current season that just finished?
Not this current season of Demon Slayer, but I am ready. I'm sure I can catch on right where we're at.
Okay. Or have you? Did you get a chance to watch this in Demon Slayer? If not, are you going to basically?
Absolutely.
Okay. I will say this with Hell's Paradise, it is a very psychological show. Makes you think. Mm-hmm. And Chris can attest that we've had a roller coaster of a ride right now trying to go through the show. It's one of those shows where as you go through it, you'll see there's a lot of big news and things. But at the same time, they do a good job of telling you the story and giving you a reason to care. So in episode 12,
but we do know that the basis of the story is the main character has been sentenced to death row and he's looking for the elixir of life, correct?
Correct. Yes, ma'am. He's looking for the elixir of life. Okay. They're trying to figure out what the elixir of life actually is, and then they're kind of navigating this world that they don't know much about.
Beautiful. Aren't we doing that every day?
Yes, absolutely. I will ask this to Chris.
I ain't got nothing to say,
I will ask this to Chris. As me and Chris, have we gone through this? What is the one thing you would tell Mahalia that even some of our viewers who's been watching along with us that you want to look out for as we're going into episode 12? We're getting to the back half, the last 2 episodes of the season. What is that overall arching one thing you want to tell somebody?
The main thing to look out for is to realize the religious things that they're trying to come across. Mm-hmm. You remember I was mentioning this has a lot of quotes and things from Hell's Paradise.
Yeah,
not from but Dante's Inferno.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes, connection. I was like, yo, I know these lessons. You're right. Yeah. Dante's Inferno.
So that's the kind of thing that I'm gonna touch on. I'd like in this show.
So the religious obligations, are they bent on one particular area, or are they exploring everything to figure out what the elixir of life is?
So it seems like in this anime, the outer ring, it seems to be the levels of hell. Mm. But however, the closer they go to the center, it becomes heaven.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Hell's Paradise.
I love it. Since Mahalia is here, what we're gonna do something a little special. Me and Chris normally do this anyway. We do it on our own, but tonight we're gonna do a double feature. We're gonna watch episode 11 in English and then episode 12 in Japan subbed. The episode 11 in English, the only reason I'm doing that is because I give Mahalia a little more background, what we're heading into, and she gets that. But also, it's a way to kind of get her up to speed really quickly because they do a good job with that in episode 11. So as we're talking, get up
Perfect.
episode 11 in English. If you
You can break it double, but it's not in English yet. Episode 11 is not English yet.
Yeah, it only goes to episode 10 in English
Oh,
right now.
10. Oh, yeah. So we're doing episode 10 and then episode 12. That's what I was going to say. Sorry. Said that backwards. I forgot they haven't updated it fully yet. They're like a week behind. So we got to give her the backstory at least. And then she can do that. This episode, me and Chris really loved because they hit you hard and quickly with a lot of stuff. I will say this episode hits kind of hard because they do a lot of deep topics, things that people don't really probably want to touch on. But it still does a really good job of getting you integrated with the characters and everything. I will say this, me and Chris will both attest, we've loved this series so far. It's one of the most fun series ever. The animation's great. Everything around it's great. I think the one big thing I will say, it just takes a lot of focus. And a lot of people can't focus that hard on something like this very often. But it's still...
Oh, I have to focus. I'm taking a break. I am a high school Algebra 1 teacher, and I specialize in special education, EC through 12. So my focus is impeccable.
All right. That actually is a good thing then. So as we get this episode up, I'm going to give the 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go. Before we do that, are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. And me and Chris will say this much, right? We haven't said this yet. We said this a lot through this series. That intro is the same through every episode. They do that for their own weird thing. It doesn't really match anything else. Yeah.
The usual intro. I love it though. I like that bass. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very good music.
Great animations too.
Yes. Very good.
Open anime is to invoke emotion. That's all they want. Evoke emotion. We be in here like, yes, we feel it.
I love it. I was telling Brandon that I want to hear Prairie View Band play this song.
Oh man.
I think they could after what you showed me in the car yesterday when we went to Sunday when we went to the movies. I think it just.
And if no one else would play the song on campus, it would definitely be the band.
The thing is, you have to
get the license. Everybody in the band watches anime.
You have to get the license. You have to get the license for it though. That's the problem. The license would not be cheap.
Yeah.
You got a point, man. You got a point. All right.
I hear you, baby.
Think you be able to get your realize. Point of 94. only emphasize 50 people.
So, Mahalia, these criminals are paired with Isemons, basically swordsmen that can kill easily.
So 5 minutes. Now, leave everything to me. I know how to extract all the information I need. So, you're going to fight us both. I'm not sure that's the best idea. Definitely have my work cut out.
Oh, that's a different way of saying that. Yeah.
What's the name of this guy? You gotta give it to me. You got Marachi? What is it?
Gabi Maru.
Thank
Gabi
you.
Morrow.
Gotta take
Yeah.
my-
Yeah, they call him Gavin Morrow the Hollow because he has no soul or no like heart,
Okay.
basically. And this is the first episode really where he gets a lot more
Basically, he's done.
heart.
Mm. Okay. A little fashionable blood. It's beautiful.
Man, he is more charismatic when he's in English.
Isn't he? I know a man that never took his arm out of his shirt. He always had a gun.
He always hiding something.
He always hiding something.
Well, in this case, his hand's just off, so you're not gonna show the nub.
Right. There's not much he can hide.
The
Yada yada. Mm-hmm.
Any other information you can share with us? Wow. Absolutely. Where are you from taking us out?
he's older.
Wild.
You know, can we talk now? Tell me what you know about the elixir.
Yeah, I know what I wouldn't mind seeing about this show.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a abridged version.
Mm.
Oh, how would you do an abridged version with all the stuff all the stuff they mentioned?
Easy. Just put some hood niggas in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody got a hood homeboy.
Yep.
That would definitely make it work. Funny. Hey, I knew that's me. He's giving me a like an older uncle of Groog.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think about it.
Giving me Groove vibes. I love Groove. That's one of my favorite characters.
I will say, Mahalia, this part is kind of weird because he goes on a rant for a second, and this is all just like information dump.
But don't they always in anime? Don't they always have sections where he's about to go rant and ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, he going like he literally going down a rabbit hole. So give him a sec. This is me interesting.
I love rabbit holes, though.
This is a rabbit hole.
I love rabbit holes.
This is a whole rabbit hole. Dante's Paradise.
Yeah, the island, Dante's Paradise. That is exactly what that is.
She calls out that.
It's a complimentary insult for me.
There it is.
They are definitely complimentary insults.
I guarantee. Not somewhere on this island making a plan to act.
So he's not a toddler as everyone thought.
As he appears, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Now, see, they didn't even say all that in the subtitles.
She does say power and weakness. No, she says weakness and strength, but she don't even say power, weakness, and the soul.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they
whole
don't
body,
use
mind.
everything that they incorporate. I think English is so interesting. They say it's one of the hardest languages to learn. And we say a lot by saying a little. But our language is actually quite complex.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yes.
fact that in English she's saying all of this, but in other languages it's paraphrased, it's cut short. I agree and I don't agree, only because I speak English. I love the English language. However, we definitely could use less words to say what we have to say, and they do a great
that's
job
why-
with other languages.
That's why the Spanish and then Japanese is so interesting because they condense like us saying to or the or those simple like those simple phrases, not phrases, but words like the dog runs or things like that. They're broken into something else, or they are combined with other things, so it doesn't feel like you're saying this multiple things at once.
I think that's a beautiful contrast.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Now, hearing this in English, I think they could have gave her a more feminine voice.
Yeah.
I think they gave her the voice that she needed. She is feminine, however, she's desperate. She's looking for something. She's looking to gain something. And she sounds exactly like that.
Okay. Wow.
I
All
think
right
they did a
then.
great job.
That okay. That's a good point. She actually does sound desperate, and you're actually right. She wants to learn something. So
she sounds exactly like she looks. She's looking for something. She wants something. And I think that that's a beautiful thing that we need to understand. Also, just as humans, we sound like what we sound like when we're looking for what we're looking for. And she's crying. There are no tears spared in anime ever.
Yeah, that's true.
They capture true emotion.
That's true. That is true.
I really think that's why people are drawn to anime. It captures true emotion. A lot of emotions we're not able to express as human beings to one another because we truly don't understand emotion. A lot going on in the world. We're desensitized, but anime it locks in on that. Magical adventures, treasures,
Wait.
surprises.
How does he say he knew her height and weight and her hair is up, but he's blind? Never mind. Let me ask that question. I don't even know why I'm asking that question.
I was like, he's blind. You know he's blind, right? I was like, he hasn't opened his eyes once.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, he knows the senses around him, but he's blind, so he can see things without really seeing things.
Yeah, he probably knows to ignore her hair. The trees and the flowers probably told him. Uncle Groog probably told him too. Mm. Mm. Yeah, Dante. Mm. You see how her voice calms? And she's like, okay, you're telling me I'm doing something wrong. What do I need?
Correct.
It's amazing how senses amplify when you lose one.
Yeah, Brandon touched on that too.
Wait, they can talk. I forgot.
About him
they
in
can-
particular.
Mm-hmm. What did you say, B?
The tempting thing started talking. I forgot about he talked in that episode. This episode.
Oh yeah.
I have to do this more often. I'm really good at analyzing and connecting episodes. I'm excited.
We do this every Tuesday.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's why I started with this episode, because it's the best episode for some people who want to learn what's going on right away, because it gives you a lot of that information quickly.
Got it. Yeah. It's a quick catch up.
Yeah, this is basically your catch-up
The
episode.
funny
for
thing
us.
is that she's actually seen the other episode.
I like how he has gaps in his eyelashes as well. That
Yes.
are cohesive with his scars. So where his scars intersect in his eye socket, his eyelashes also cut off. I think that's really cool and particular in detail.
Paying that close attention to the details.
Absolutely. But anime is about detail.
It is.
Whether it's detail of emotion, detail of the environment, detail of clothing, detail of animation, detail of injuries, it's all about detail.
So human.
It's actually quite beautiful though. His red hair is beautiful too. He got a nice little bob going. So fire. She got a pink one, he got a red one. That's a good little bob combo.
It's the red and pink ranger.
Yeah. And that's it. Red and pink bob.
Hey, Chris, did you
It's
hear
beautiful
something?
to know that people could become one with flowers.
He said something interesting.
You said something, Brandon?
He said something interesting. You shouldn't kill him. You shouldn't kill them when you throw them in the pit. You should leave them alive. So I'm guessing that would mean that they're harnessing the
Yeah,
tongue
but
while
that
they're
was more in
still.
the woods.
Yeah, but they're harnessing the tongue still
No one
alive.
that goes down there dead
Yeah,
is still alive as they become one with the flowers. But flowers have life.
right.
Live.
Maybe those are the elixirs of life.
They have you already passed that point, Brandon, where they mentioned that?
They're still trying to figure out the elixir of life.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they explained it yet.
They haven't explained. No, we're
Because
that's
they do
12.
explain it.
That's 12 where they explain it, where they
Okay.
talk about where he talks about everything.
That is.
That's why I
I
started
didn't
with
want to
this.
give
And
away
then,
to you.
But alive
boy.
is you become one with the flowers. But flowers bring life, no matter
yeah,
what it is.
flowers do bring life.
Look at that. It's building. Come on. But how are they regenerating? Plants, flowers, roots. That's life.
You know, you got a huge point
Connections of life. That's why they're able to regenerate.
because of the time allows them. Man, see,
Jeez, man.
Brandon,
All right,
you
all
know
right.
how hard I'm trying not to talk about the future.
I'm with
Yep.
the future. I understand. Look at that. You see how you can just pull somebody's arm off? It's easy.
It's like a monster show.
Just eat it.
She talks. Oh, that's it.
You think about announcing my presence. But there's no need to get free.
He has a yin and yang on his hat.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Either or. Darker light. But he also has a gate over it. A grid. Something blocking it. So he wants you to see what you want, but he may not give it to you unless you do what you need to do.
Just like one of the saving layers of hell.
It's always a challenge.
Did you notice that, Brandon?
I did. I know what it meant because he has one bar
That's
on his.
blocked like a window.
Yeah, his is a window. Yeah, one's a
You
window.
gotta
His is
open
like
the
a door,
window.
like a gate. Yeah.
Open the window. Open the window to either or. But then you still have to choose. It's crazy.
We reside within the house, studying, looking out, and handling substance that income. Now I am forward. Please go back into the fold.
You see how sometimes on the gate of his yin and yang it's 3 bars versus 1?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it change? Mm. Why are you still talking to him? He done lost the whole arm.
He just hold it.
Regenerating off top, like a tree, like a root. Crazy.
You realize that you would be much better off becoming calm. You killed it.
He missing an eye?
Mm-hmm. It show why. Like I think probably next episode.
Yeah, I know.
Next episode. Yeah, next episode. Show why.
It all makes sense. It all makes sense. He has no eyes, but even his beard looks like the trunk of a tree. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Those are roots. Instantly.
Mm.
The elixir of life is the environment. environment that shows you exactly where he's at, doing what he's doing at the moment he's doing it.
Well, Brandon, we got our prediction for the end.
Yeah, we do. And you might not be wrong, Mahalia. Here's the thing. With this episode, they explained so much, but they end up giving you one big thing. And the one big thing they give you is strength, power, and soul. And the other big thing they give you is,
Yeah, look, their life is manifested. I
yes,
found.
yin and yang. You meant something, Mahalia, and I want you to.
Faces that he's giving.
It's manifested. It's not found. The elixir of life is in you. Like, he's literally trying to save his own life, but what he needs is within himself.
Yeah.
It's literally the elixir of life. It's the potion to continue to grow, to build. I don't understand what he doesn't understand. And he got one eye. I mean, how much more does he need to understand? If he couldn't see twice, he needs to see once.
So you mentioned something in the episode, Mahalia, I want you to explain. With the Dashi's headdress, what do you explained it kind of very simply, but kind of go explain it again, talking about the yin and yang symbols and what their hats mean. Do you think they mean?
Yes. So with the yin yang symbol, you have the either or, you have the black and the white. However, in some scenes, he only had one bar in between the yin yang symbol, and it was like a window. But then in some other scenes, he had 3 bars, which it was like a prison cell. So I think it just depends on what's going on in the particular moment. But I think that sign means a lot. And I think that the way that those bars change mean a lot, which further proves that the destiny of what is supposed to be fulfilled in the end of this season is manifestation.
Okay.
Everybody's looking for something. But what exactly are you looking for if what you're looking for is within you? A lot of times, that's what anime is about. You end up finding what you need within yourself. So why would this be any different?
Chris, let me ask you this. But before I ask you this, you brought somebody who has the same level of thinking as both of us in Mahalia.
That's why he asked you to come.
At the same time, I'm enjoying it because it is getting deep, my friends. So I'll ask you this, Chris.
I love it.
Me and you both didn't notice that. The other thing she's mentioning, which I think that we didn't notice at all, the dashi look like trees. The dashi have roots. The dashis can regenerate.
Yes, they do.
The dashi can regrow their limbs. So it kind of
like trees, like roots.
So it kind of gives Mahalia's thing of basically this island is built to give life. Do you see it more now?
Exactly.
Listening back
island
to
is the elixir of life.
Yes. Do you see that
Everything
more, Chris?
you touch on that island gives you life, even if you mean to cause it death. Everything on that island gives you life. No matter what your intentions are, you can do nothing but produce life on that island, even through death.
Yeah. Do you see that more now, Chris, as we're watching through it, or has it became more clear as after she explained it?
I do see that point that she's making because when you think about it, plants and trees are one of the few things that regenerate themselves.
Yes.
What else does besides cells? And we're made up of cells. So why would you not end up on an island where everything on that island regenerates or grows, but you're literally made up of the things that regenerate and grow, which are cells? Once he touched the island, he already had the elixir of life. Just has to figure out what that means to him. Where he needs to go and what he needs to do with it. But he's already had everything he's needed.
Is that going to be the big plot twist in this? Basically, that Genmaru's whole thing was trying to find himself? If that's the case, cool. I'm down with that.
Especially because the basis of a lot of religious foundations are just that. Your religion is in you. It's based in you. Everything that you need is already where, and it's already within you. All you have to do is activate it. If we're looking at so many different aspects and realms of religion within this season, why would the end result not be everything you ever needed was within you the whole time? Religion. It's anime. It's love. It's life. It's romance. It's action. It's heartbreaking. But all these things are already within us. Even if you've never known heartbreak, when you experience it, you know how to react to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural.
And you
So
actually
why is everything else that's happening on this island not natural?
You actually bring up a good point, because Gabby Morrow says at the beginning of this episode, he goes, I'm Gabby Morrow the Hollow no more. Basically saying, I have a soul. I have a reason to live. I have a reason to go back to my wife. That's all been explained prior. Huh? Yeah, it has. Yep, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
But they all have a reason. No one came here to die. No one came here for this to be the end.
Correct.
That is true.
They all came for something that was either going to move them forward or it was going to be a revelation, and this is where they were going to stay. But no one came here to die.
And that makes sense coming from the first episode when she was kind of like trying to figure out how to kill him.
Yeah.
But then he didn't want to kill him because he realized you're not as high level as you are.
Is everything that they need. You don't go through trials and tribulations, but everything you need is literally right where you're at.
Oh, absolutely. As we're talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you to get episode 12 up, because we're gonna jump into this current episode. The reason I started off with 10.
Yes,
10,
we are.
I think we should go ahead and watch episode 11 because there's something in there that needs to be said.
I was gonna ask you, do you want to do episode 11 then? We do episode 11 and 12?
Yes.
Okay.
We can do 10, 11, and 12. We just did 10. Let's do 11. Let's do 12. It's 24 minutes.
All right. Let's do that. So get up episode
I'm
11.
sure we can give people what they need, and it's 48 minutes. Absolutely.
And I will say this. This is probably going to be one of the most fun episodes we're going to do, because you get to listen to three different people's perspectives, three different people who have three different ways of seeing this. And also, it's just been me and Chris. But the other thing we've talked about, and Chris can attest to this, we've said it multiple times, we would love to have a woman's perspective, and now we got it. So I hope you cherish.
You're welcome. And it's a great woman's perspective to have. Let me tell you that.
So I hope you cherish this episode. Chris is like, I can't believe I did this. But at the same time,
I am taking all of this in, and I would love to be a guest again. I am taking all of this in. I'm having such a good time.
So let's get to episode 11. Episode 11 builds off episode 10.
Yep.
Episode 11 is weakness and strength. Now, this is the episode Chris mentions where in the Japanese version, she don't say soul, strength, power, all that. She just says weakness, strength, and Tao. This episode's gonna be interesting because now we built
Japanese culture doesn't believe in the soul.
So now we built up to that.
Have you ever known that?
I did not know that.
Japanese culture doesn't believe in soul.
They believe in chi.
They believe in power,
energy.
They believe in strength. They believe in energy. They don't believe in the soul.
And it's weird that the English version mentions.
That's not a.
It's weird that the English version.
We believe in a soul.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of interesting. They mentioned soul,
but
the
Japanese believe in energy, which is the same thing for them.
And that makes sense because energy is neither created or destroyed.
Correct.
Yep.
But neither is the soul.
Neither soul.
Especially if it's energy.
Correct. So you can refer to it differently, but we're all getting the same thing we need from this, no matter who's watching.
And that's the thing.
Soul,
that's the thing with
energy, strength, power, weakness.
And that's the thing with episode 10.
It's all relatable. We're all people.
Episode 10 gives you all of that with three different scenes. The master and the young girl, the Gabby Morrow and his gang, and then the rest of the crew with the tree that looks like Groot, which I didn't notice that. Well, I didn't think about that at first, but now you have that. I have that in my head now. That's kind of bad. I will say this: we're getting to episode 11. I think me and Chris did this on the previous time we did this episode. This episode's kind of dark in the sense it goes a little bit deep. So I'm going to say this right now: viewer discretion advised, and we're about to get some deep topics. We're also getting into some deep topics.
Fair warning.
Go ahead.
Fair warning. I think my head is going to go off in this episode.
I love dark because I'm light. So I am probably going to have a lot to say about episode 11. However, I'm so excited to see the darkness. I'm not even going to lie to you.
That's fair enough. I'm about to say 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to kick this off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second part of a 3-part ride. It's only going to go up from here. The last part of this ride is even more kind of weird. Let's kick this off. Here goes with episode 11 in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Let's go.
And Mappa, stop doing this. I'm going to say it now. This looks cool.
Nothing to do with anything. I'm looking at it. I'm like, this isn't even the intro. I'm just gonna watch them do what they're doing. Cause what?
Because Mappa can. They're like,
I'm going to crank up this song real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Simple. It's so. It's nice.
One big thing, Mahalia, that me and Chris noticed a lot as we were watching the intro, they tease a lot of things in the intro that come up later.
Well, Brandon, we just made a good reference. You can easily put a church song on top of this.
Absolutely. This is definitely church music, my guy. These bass beats,
you can do
riffs,
church.
These runs, these drums, these guitars. This is church. You hear me? And they trying to take us there. That's why they keep bringing up religion. I think it's a game. They're trying to put you in the spirit.
You can do a church song.
Now her voice definitely could have been more feminine.
That's a him.
Oh, it's a him. That's a guy.
There ain't no him.
See, it's funny. I thought a girl too, Mahalia, when we first saw the character, but it's a dude.
Bro, that hair. Did she just cut off his face? And the face she cut off, there was no face? I told you. Bro. Joanna or nobody. That's a boy? Ain't no way. Oh, he just regenerated. Like a tree trunk. They're connected. Ordinary humans shouldn't be able to detect it. Oh.
You forget this man. That man has eaten so much of that blood in those animals and those monsters.
Have you ever seen the series Raising Dion?
I've heard of it. Never
There's a particular figure in there called the Lightning Man. That man they just represented, he reminds me of the Lightning Man. He steals people's energy. That
interesting.
Yeah. That ain't no boy. Ain't no way. I refuse to believe that's a boy. That's a woman.
You'll see, because they show a flashback of the two of them, so you'll see it. They'll mention it.
So it's going to transform him from being human?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a flashback. We're getting there. Okay. You got to know who you are, baby. Mm. I feel you, brother. I feel you.
He literally tells a bunch of bandits, "I'm gonna cut my eye out." Oh, by the way, if anybody want to add any more cuts, go ahead.
I would rather.
He doesn't care.
I'd rather stab myself in the eye.
As a kid.
As a kid, I would rather stab myself in the eye than to let you do what you're trying to do. He keeps stabbing this thing, and nothing is happening here. He was stabbing him in the neck, cut off his face.
Same to him though.
Where?
He was.
He's already touched him. He's infused him. That's why he's asked him if he's worried about becoming less human. Whatever he's done it. He has the tats on his neck. Something is different here. They wrong for making this boy look like this.
That's the culture.
Ah, see, he want to know. Yeah, they wasn't ready for that. You want to mess with me? I want you to tell me why you messing with me.
Trying to mess you up now.
Yeah.
The big
Seems like it's more to it, but I'm gonna have to practice. I just took your power. It's enhancing the infusion. He's gonna be taking over. It's a wrap. You're gonna kill the yin and the yang. You're going too far. Too far to the dark side. You're going too far.
That's why I ain't saying nothing.
You're going too far to the dark side.
But you see him talk about the veins.
I already see it. That's why I said he's already been imprinted. Like Twilight.
And the funny part, Mahalia, they show the young girl with the same vine on her upper shoulder, but not as defined.
Of course. I knew it. I was like, there has to be someone else in this equation who's also experiencing the same thing. Has to be. I'm not killing people with her on his shoulder. He only got one arm. Mm-hmm. He had a line. All this attitude in one arm. He had a line.
keep listening. This is where it gets worse.
He just loves operating on people. That would be me. I'd be like, they dead? Let me pick them apart. That's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right.
And you see the vines on her face.
They go to vines.
Yep.
They all on her face, but it seems like she can control it, which is also another level.
But she's teaching them how to control it.
Is she really? Has he already seen these bonds?
He has.
Has he?
No.
Exactly. So he doesn't even know that they're one and the same.
No, but just wait.
I'm tired of her being on his shoulder and he killing everybody. He just murdering everybody. She just up there like, what are you doing? I'm killing people and you're right here. I really like that mask. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't want that to be my face, but I like it.
That is nice.
It's like a lobster. It's got like lobster claws in the front.
You know what, Brenda? I think I might have found my cosplay next year.
Can I
That
go?
would be a cool one to do. That would be a cool
You
one to
wouldn't want me to go. I am that black girl that wears cosplay and you're like, holy smackerel. That girl is fine. That's me. I will do it. I would love to dress up. Why not? I love it.
Listen carefully. This is dark.
I know,
Yeah.
that's why I stopped. I see it. I knew it was coming. Of course. Do it. Yep. You fucking lame. You feel so bad about not being human. So here we are with the yin and yang again, like a window, but not like a gate. Does it change in the stage in which they're fighting? So does it add more bars as they become more of a threat? The person that they're fighting?
That I don't know. I haven't.
Because that's what it's feeling like. It feels like it adds more bars as they become more of a threat.
But listen to this part though.
Okay. I love butterflies. Y'all about to ruin this for me. Oh, like bees. About the butterflies. I love butterflies. Y'all ever... Okay, so both of them have yin and yang, and they're like windows. Oh, that one is open.
This is horizontal.
Okay. He has no bars, nothing holding it back. He's also a replication. He did slide from behind, oh boy. All that blood on his face just disappeared.
There's a string behind there.
I'm sick of this one hand guy. It's gotten stronger. Are those centipedes?
Yeah.
Nah. I don't do wasp bees and centipedes. He's like an ant. His face is like an ant with those little
Mandible.
Yeah. It's like an ant, right? Like a fly or some type of insect of some sort.
I think he more resembles a butterfly though.
That's like after he was the king of butterflies, because they did show up when he popped up.
This is when he realized that he's not as hollow.
Okay, so this is him talking to brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is where it gets fucked up.
My question exactly. Shit. Yeah, shit. Okay. thought. Yin and yang. I understand. That's why I was like, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah. Flower on flower. Snowflake on snowflake. Yeah. Yeah. Reproduction. Mm. To change the laws of nature. I got it. I got it. The elixir of life is a baby. The circulation of yin and yang.
But see, after they told me all of this,
We possess yang queen. Her. Yeah,
but you hear they're basically raping her though.
of course. To reproduce, but is this not the usual cycle of humans? This is not what they do in places other than the U.S. Women are meant to have babies. Even though we're trying to do it here by overturning Roe versus Wade, women are literally expected to have babies. The elixir of life is reproduction.
Hold that thought till the end, Mahalia.
What do you think
He
about
has
that, bro?
something to do with this.
Hold that thought
Say
to
it
the end,
again, Brandon?
Mahalia, because I think I think you're onto something. Sadly, you might be right.
Okay.
You might be right.
Yeah, she has something to do with this.
Well,
But he was intended to find her.
what if she is the time?
I'm sure she is, but what if she's the life and he's the elixir? Sperm and egg. What are we explaining? You can take out religion, you can take out life, you can take out everything else. Reproduction of life.
Nah.
Why not? And then you have two people who are technically in a state of non-human. Yeah. He the king of butterflies or he the king of centipedes. Look at these people. They done transformed on y'all. Oh, no. Where you get fire from? You always got fire.
You remember that
Use
was
the
like
fire. You right. 2 and 3. We're on episode 12. 11. Like, at this point, I forgot about the fire. I love butterflies. Don't kill them. That's my favorite insect.
Butterflies with human faces, though? Yeah, no, absolutely not.
That's all he's worried about is he's gonna help that shit. But it'll burn, okay?
I didn't say it with Brandon, but I'll say it with you. You notice after talking about the Tom lyric and they low key threw him a penis?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I had to. He had to regrow an appendix of some sort. They cut off his arm, so he had to go regrow something. He got dread. The invisible power. That's it. It's the invisible power. The invisible power of reproduction. You don't see somebody literally reproduce. I mean, unless you walk in on somebody doing the thing. But you don't physically see someone reproducing. Everything in this aspect is not tangible. But it's your traditional foundation of
Watch out, he
ancient
just played
principles.
Watch it.
Okay. You can't even see it without training. Oh, weekend mama. There it is. There it is. So fruit. Fruit of the week. Come on.
Fruit of the week.
Come on, we in this together. Reproduction. Let's do the thing. And we learned overnight, baby. I mostly get it. So there's something else he needs to learn. Something else he needs to learn. But he mostly gets it. But what's keeping him from doing it? That's feeling. He didn't even know he was supposed to be liking this girl. He's supposed to be liking this girl. I gotta go. Anime is written by Hopeless Romantic, by the way.
That's why I watch so
No,
much of
anime
it.
is literally written by Hopeless Romantic.
That's why I watch so much
They
of it.
just create their lives, the fantasy world, which is beautiful. And I love it because I'm a hopeless romantic. And things don't always work out the way the centipede and the butterfly king got it going on right. So I'm with it. If this is the way the world was supposed to work, I'm with it. I would love to fall hopeless. Travel to an island where I can fall in love with that one person. We do what we need to do to save the humanity. All right. Someone I can find a sister witnessing others and a delicate one. So far, and a delicate one. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Damn. No power. I love it. Yes, sir. Gotta do what you gotta do. Shout out to butterflies.
All right. Okay.
This so childish. Ooh. You took that man's head off. You hear me?
Yeah, that was kind of that's rough. That's a rough thing to watch because they just do it. He just does it one flick. But let me get back to something you brought up, Mahalia.
You know, I like groups. That was a group. You didn't have to do him like that.
No, he did it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That's the island true nature. Do we have another episode coming?
Yes, we do.
Episode 13 coming out Sunday.
That's it? That's the end?
That'll be the
That'll be the end of this
Okay,
season.
But
Yes,
this
yes.
is the second 2 hours episode.
Yes. So
I'm
I want
excited.
to bring back something up you brought up, Mahalia, earlier. And we've seen this already, Chris, in one place. Demon Slayer. you talk about the fact for us, for Americans, for reproducing, it's just for love and like desire of the heart or desire of the soul. But for them, it's more like a contract.
Right.
So you bring up a good
For
point. And
for other places, for most places other than us, it's a contract. Only Americans believe that that type of commitment, that type of energy is a contract. Most people get married for business. They don't get married for love. They get married for reproduction. They get married because it makes sense. We're the only ones that get married based off of feelings. However, in what we're watching, he's going where he's going and he's doing the things that he needs to do. However, there's a purpose. Most other cultures honor purpose over feelings. We're Americans. We honor feelings over purpose.
Which is ironic because that's the kind of the way most animes are perceived. Emotions over everything else.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
okay.
is what it is, though, because honestly, if people just operated the way that they felt, the world may be a little bit healthier all the way around,
yeah,
all the way around. Not based off of what was good, what was right, what was off of how they felt, speaking to each other, being human, accessing and engaging human qualities with other humans. I think we'll be better off. A lot of times we're not.
But then, that's also how we get dictators like Hitler and Kim Jong-un.
Yes and no, because even when you think about Hitler, you're talking about a man who advertised blonde hair, blue eyes, and non-Jewish. However, he was Jewish. He had blonde hair. He didn't have blonde hair. He didn't have blue eyes. He was also a homosexual, and he was a coward. So you're talking about someone who's advertising something that they themselves are not. These individuals, these characters in anime, they're advertising something that they are, and they're also advertising someone who is learning. A lot of times we don't pay attention to people who are learning. These people are learning. He's come to this island for something in particular, and he's learning what that looks like, what that means for him, what that needs to be. We don't pursue life like that. Like, he's learning. He's fighting. He's figuring it out. He's doing everything he needs to do. He's also learning, and he's taking those lessons that he's learning and he's applying them, and he's moving forward. These are literally the foundations of life. Everybody goes through what they go through. Take what you learn, apply it, and move forward. These are great lessons. Take out the feelings. Take out the extra. Apply it, move forward, and learn.
So you also brought
It's how we should be, but we're not, which is also why our currency is getting overthrown.
You're not wrong. Do you also bring up? You're also bringing up something else that I thought about. As you saw, they talk about Mai. I think is her name, Minasan, and you see the scene where she gets cut down. So when I saw that, me and Chris both thought that she had to pick a side. But like way you put it, she was bound to a contract and she broke that contract.
Yes.
And
that's what it was. That's all it was. It could be that simple. Yes.
And that makes more sense now because the 10 cent just wants power. The 10 cent has that power to use her with that power. The yin and yang, the balancing of having both sides. Well, she didn't want to do that anymore.
Correct.
She broke the contract and she left. She tried to leave.
Yes. It was a wrap. It was a wrap for her. You broke the contract. That's all it takes.
Man, okay. That's interesting. I think me and Chris...
It's that simple. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Me and Chris didn't think of it that way because we both thought it was kind of disgusting, but we're just like, seeing it that way, we're just like, oh, wait, they're talking about other cultures, just not just the culture we're in.
Right, but they're also doing what their intention was. Their intention was to play on the culture, the feeling, the environment of other cultures. Honestly, because anime is more so geared towards the Asian, the Japanese culture. So when other people are viewing it, that is their sole purpose, to engage your emotion, to evoke emotion. They're putting you in a place and they're making you think about things that us as Americans usually wouldn't think about. Even for the poor and the different things we have going on, it's normal for us, but there are poor in the world that are even poorer than we are. So when it comes to certain things, it helps us to approach and assess situations in a reasonable manner. Because for a lot of other cultures, other than Americans, marriage is about business. Being with someone is about business. It's about a foundation. It's about building. It's about financials. It's about all of these different things. Only Americans and Americans solely get married for love. They reproduce for love. Mm-hmm. These people are like, hey, us having a baby is life. Life is necessary for us to continue the world. Let's reproduce. It's that simple for them. They ain't trying to figure out who was the daddy and who was the mama and DNA and all this other stuff. Let's reproduce. I'm a man, you're a woman. We were created for this. Let's reproduce.
So let me ask you something, man. When it comes to the Tenson and they change themselves in between male and female while they're in between intercourse, how do you think that goes into play?
Do we not think humans do the same thing? Do we not think humans adjust themselves to be who they think we want them to be? Do the things we want them to do? We may not be able to necessarily transition ourselves from male to female. However, how many times do we become somebody else for somebody else?
Yeah.
In this particular instance, you're on the island. Everybody's trying to figure out a lot of different things. So if you're encountering people, they're going to become what you need them to be. Whether it's your enemy, whether it's your ally, they're going to become what you need them to be. But these things are all in the sole purpose of you learning a lesson, you achieving a goal. His goal is to figure out what the elixir of life is. He has a goal. From the moment he stepped foot on that island, he had a goal. He has to figure out what that is, no matter how many episodes it takes. He has to figure it out.
So you brought up,
you know what I'm saying? So he's here, and he's now realizing the woman that he brought with him is something different, but he has to figure that shit out too.
Yeah,
I predicted way in one of our earlier episodes that might be his daughter.
You think so? His daughter?
Yeah. The samurai woman. Yeah.
The samurai woman. So the girl with the pink hair.
No.
Okay.
The long
the sword.
The one who I thought was his brother. That's a boy.
No.
That's the one who I thought was a.
You see this picture? You see the girl?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see the picture. Okay.
The Asaman that was supposed to be
his daughter.
That's supposed to be guarding him. Yeah.
But if that is his daughter, does it matter? Will it make a difference? You think so? Okay, so pink hair girl with the pink eyelashes. This is just a pregnant, basically. But she also shares a characteristic of the vein, like he does.
Because she's Tan. Well, she's Tenson.
Right, but so is he.
We don't really know what he is.
He ain't got no choice. Yeah. You can't take that out of you. He's already been infected, literally. Now he can overcome it and balance it with the character that he already has possessed before he became this monster, as they call it. However, does it really matter? Would they not be able to use the power or the balance of power that they possess to overcome the adversary?
What do you think, Brandon?
Y'all both make good points, and I'm going to bring up something else. Because you talk about the fact that people normally change for other people. People change their spots. People change their face mask. People change a lot of themselves to show a different side to other people. Is that for friendship reasons? Is that for business reasons? Is that for love reasons, like you brought up? Is that even for the fact that you get on top? to be on top of something, to be on top of a
Right.
company. So in this instance, like you're saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Gavin Mario did it. He joined that group to become friends with them, so they could beat off these two dudes. But also, he understands he can't do this by himself.
Mm,
I'm going to pose this question to both
that's
of
a good
y'all.
point.
I'm going to pose this question to both of y'all. If we're heading to a self-reflection kind of thing, what do you think the ending at the end of this arc, within this season, what is going to be the overall like cliffhanger thing they're going to tell us? What's the overall arching thing they want you to get out of this arc that's going to be like this? What's going to be going into the next season?
Now, in regards to Chris, I do feel like someone in this environment, in this area, will end up being somebody's family member. I do agree with that. And at the same time, I feel like the realization is going to be within a lot of these characters. It may, they'll have to first realize it within themselves in order to combine it with an outside person to defeat whatever obstacle is in front of them. But I do feel like it will be within themselves first before they can do anything else.
You could be right. I mean, you could be right. It brings up a lot of questions rewatching this now because we have somebody else that gives us the opposite perspective, but also a different way of looking at it. And it actually can make more sense both ways. It makes more sense with both ways because now you have the
It does.
American version and other cultures thought about. Before we go into episode 12,
Yes.
and I hope you have episode 12 up as we're talking. I hope you're getting episode 12
We do.
As we're talking.
We do. We looking at it. We ready for you to say 1, 2, 3, go.
I'm just gonna bring up this. I implore people, if you don't get a chance to, go back and watch all these episodes back in English. Because the one thing it does, and me and Chris figured this out pretty quickly, it gives you what they're really thinking. But also it gives you the understanding of like, this is why things are happening. This is why certain things are going certain ways.
Yeah.
And it also gives you understanding of what's the reason behind this. I have to give Mappa credit. They've done a very good job, and Chris can attest to this. I ultimately say 13 is gonna be fun, really fun. But now, let's finish the episode. Let's get to episode 12. Let's get to we had the main course. We had the appetizer. We had the main course. Now we're heading for dessert. We're heading to the episode that kind of gives you a little more of a deep dive.
Well, technically, this is more like we've had the main course. I mean, we've had the appetizer. We've had half of the main course. We're about to get the sides right now. But when we get episode 13, that's going to be the dessert.
Absolutely. Now, I do agree with that. Episode 12 is interesting.
Yeah. We didn't got the meat, but we didn't get the sides yet. We about to get the sides right now. And then we're going to get the dessert on episode 13. But I'm so excited. I might have to come back for episode 13.
And you'll be welcome back. Episode 12 is Umbrellas and Ink. Remember that as we're watching it. There's reason.
Umbrellas and Ink. I love it.
Reason why I say that. I'm about to say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go. Y'all ready?
I want you to know, Brandon, I might cry on this one. So
no worries.
You said it's sad. So 3, 2, 1 me.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I hope for next season they take this out. I just have to say that. Whenever they do next season, they take that out. It's not necessary.
Oh, you didn't have to show it twice? Mm-hmm. They didn't have to show us Groove getting beheaded twice.
Yeah.
It's a strawberry shortcake bob for me. I don't like it. I don't like it.
You can have to test it out.
I love peony. It's a great thing, but I know it's the peony spirit. But yeah, I love peony. It's a great thing. It makes me feel indifferent. All right, so it's going.
Wow. Okay. Mahalia, you were right. This does sound like something you could play in a church.
Right, you hear me? You
Yeah,
hear
you
the
could.
bass line, you hear the drums. That's what
You
I'm
could play.
saying, bro.
You
This
could.
is so church.
You could play
That's
this in
why when y'all
church.
spoke about a religious background, I was like, bro, it's there. They giving you the upbeat, they giving you the pop lyrics, they giving you the cadences, but that is definitely church instruments. Of the church instrument.
Yeah,
I
Chris,
mean,
you could put.
You hear it?
You could probably put a choir behind. You could put a choir behind that.
That's the upbeat. Yeah. Because you know Chris want to play over here. You know he's looking for his instruments. He ready to play. Somebody, you hear that bass? I hear it. I do. I hear it. mm. That's a man too. Okay. I know that's the thing.
it's already dark as out there.
Okay. Absolutely. What they in search of.
Wait a minute. Why do those things look like monks?
Serious.
They look like monks.
That's what he's saying. He said Mason, you use humans.
He said, why do you think they look like monks?
Because he made them. He used humans and he made them. But he made them as peaceful as he could perceive.
Okay, that's
and
kind
his
of.
perception was monks.
By the way,
But
here's your answer,
you
Mahalia.
see the part where they said he talked.
What'd you say?
Listen into this.
What I tell you? What I tell you? What I tell you? What did I tell you?
I hate to say it, she called it.
It's all about what you consume. Exactly. It's island. It doesn't matter. Whatever you get from what you get from where you at, that's your elixir. It always comes down to that. It's always what's within you. That's why you gotta stop searching for stuff. If you're looking for something, it's in you. Always. You take this popping now. That's what I say. Them, they fight. Oh, don't let his little head. Yes, ma'am. You better be tired. Purple hair. He made them like Aztecs, like Indians. He literally took humans and recreated them into peaceful beings because that's what we should be.
But we're not.
But that's the creepy part.
But we're not.
But if he can remake humans, doesn't that say anything about him?
Technically, he didn't remake humans. The trees and the flowers remade the humans. But he also trained them to be peaceful, which I don't disagree with. Exactly. Make sure we stay alive. Yes. Yes, for the rap. Yes, for the hair. I love it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Didn't you just cut his head off? I'm so confused.
Remember, they can regenerate.
It's terrible. Why did he just blow them up like that?
Because he
They
said that was
was important. I don't want no teacher like him. I don't want him to teach me nothing. Right. Come on, say it again, rank 5. Mm. Mm. What? He want her to be his one and only. He gonna kill everybody else. He tired of this shit. You keep cutting this man off, and he ain't gonna do nothing but regenerate. What she do?
She got it.
I don't know why she thought she could kill somebody who regenerates. This man only got... Ain't no way. Stop!
Yeah, you got no.
Stop trying to kill him. Who is this? Who arm is this? Yep. Yep. This man ain't got no eyes.
And he was dodging all of that.
Man, couldn't see you. Look at dodge. There you go. Eyes. Here we go. So beautiful.
That's what they call the most beautiful beings.
No, I get it. He laughing, Brandon laughing at me.
No. I mean, I'm listening. I'm just enjoying what y'all talking about because I think y'all not wrong.
Man. Wait. I knew it was happening. I knew he was gonna come clutch. I knew it. I was like, that head ain't enough. I knew he was gonna come clutch. Got to. Come on, Uncle Groove. Not the fat boy. He's so quick. That man got on one shoe. That man got on one shoe. And I said, hop, hop, skip, skip. Don't do it, girl. You're going to die. Oh, wow. Chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She activated all of his chakras in one.
But
And he regenerated. That's terrible. You can't kill this man for nothing. And that's talented. So someone has to possess more power than him in order to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Where our boy at?
There's two boys now. Remember, we got Gabimaru and we got the other bitch.
I ain't worried about him.
Well,
I'm worried
watch
about main boy. That's the love of life, right?
That's the daughter.
That's the one you think is gonna be his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that's gonna be
They
his
have the
daughter?
same color eyes.
No,
You ain't never seen kids with the same color eyes?
they may not be daughter. That may be his sister.
No, I think he would have said it.
Nah, for what? Maybe he didn't know he had a sister.
It would be true.
You know how this goes. I love it. I love the comic book illustration. And him bleeding from his eyes that he don't have.
And still looking.
And all this gold around them. It's beautiful.
City of gold.
She said she know how to cut it. Uh-huh.
You remember that episode?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do. John the Bazaar.
Yeah, I listened to a song today, and it killed me because all it told me in the entire song was just free.
Power and breathing.
A lot of people should breathe before they do bad things. Marvelous. I don't know what kind of tan you'll produce, or will you kill me? I give you a tan and I'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been my explanation. At the end, Night Pilgrim.
Come on, that man disappeared on them.
But she got it. She got it, though. Oh, the other people. You better stab them, sir. She has to control her breathing. But he knows he can regenerate at any point, so he doesn't care about what's happening to him.
No, he doesn't.
But you think they don't know how to do it?
Like he said, you underestimate me. Like trees, they just grow back. They're part of the earth. They're part of the island.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this man grew boobies. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Told you.
Man,
Bro,
that's-
Carol said you can turn to a man or a female, baby. He said, I'm out here beating y'all up as a man, but I got boobs. So y'all gonna have to feel some type of empathy. That man grew boobs like it was supposed to solve the war. Like, he grew boobs like, yeah, this will stop y'all. What? Here's his boobs. She's tired. You hear me? You see her hair? She's tired. She's tired. She ain't got time to keep doing this. Not her weakness. So now he's a her.
Yep.
I'm sick of it.
Remember I told you?
There's too much his and hers is out here. Because you can't just grow a chest in the middle of a war and expect me to be nice to you now because you got boobs. This is tough. This is a tough war. You hear me?
But
A tough
you know
war.
what I think it is, though? You remember how in the earlier they were explaining the between energy?
Yeah.
That they have to change between male
Right,
and female
but
at the same
both
time.
male and females possess masculine and feminine energy. You can't get away from that. You can be a man, you can be a woman. You cannot escape masculine and feminine energy.
And I understand he operating in it, but what we can't do is decide not to beat you up in a war
Well, yeah,
because you decide to go from male to female. We gotta figure it out. It's something not right here. I get it. I have very strong masculine energy. I understand it. And I have very strong feminine energy. Look at this man. He got boobs. Oh, now he got pecs. I'm sick of it. Come on, sir, with the glasses. Tell him. Stab both of us. Because at this point, we got to kill everybody. There you go. You had to stab him.
No,
Oh, she sliced him.
right where
Oh.
that chakra point is.
Ah, chakra. I told you. But it is back, though? Oh, and the stomach and his back.
He's gonna have to hold him down with the sword just to keep him from moving.
Uncle Groove? Oh, he talking. He okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he okay. We fine.
Yeah, he's fine for now.
Right. Till we get to episode 13, I'm sure everybody gonna perish in episode 13. You know how they do. They got to end the whole season. Right. Who we come here for? Exactly.
Is that what you said?
I told you that shit don't exist. I said it. I was like, there is no such thing. It's an idea that they sold somebody. Exactly. Nobody cleans the blood off their face here?
I guess not.
Mm.
And that calls back to their law, where you had to become the man of the house, or basically
We are
learn
with traditions.
learn the trade.
Yeah. Yeah. You go to school, you learn what you need to learn, you move forward. Who cares if you want to do something different? It doesn't matter. You do what you need to do, you move forward. And then standing in front of a pyramid of decapitated heads.
Mm-hmm.
And he's chilling. Come on.
Like it's a Saturday afternoon.
Man, like it's a Wednesday afternoon. Ah, he likes her. Mm. Of course, now we're back referring to her. She's going to have some random, like something, she's extremely powerful in episode 13.
I think so.
She has to.
Yeah.
Because we need to know what she's doing here. Exactly. And why we need to be connected.
Mm-hmm.
We need to know all these answers. I like how they changed the color
Yes.
of the subtitles. Mm. Exactly. That's not a question. Now he done passed out.
Yep.
He done passed out, y'all. No, there's never been this many flowers. Because they all got... I knew it was coming. Oh, they out here trying to kill the people. The island is oh man. It's the island. A magical rainbow in a world of decapitated heads. You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding.
But that's the way he viewed her, though.
Ain't nothing else. What you about to paint?
What do you think he painted?
Yeah, but now look at you down there becoming a flower.
Becoming time.
Coming time.
Masculine and feminine.
Of course. Because everybody has the same energy. Like I told you.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang.
Yep.
And I think it's amazing how they consider feminine energy dark and masculine energy light. I think that's amazing.
But my favorite thing about yin and yang is that, you know, they shows that even in so much goodness, there's still darkness.
Correct.
There's so much darkness.
But you can't have goodness without darkness.
There it is.
But you also can't have darkness without goodness. But goodness is the leading force.
Mm-hmm. That's
we
what
don't
says
pay
goodness and
attention
mercy
to that.
shall follow.
We don't maintain goodness. We see goodness, we see darkness, and we want to maintain darkness. We don't ever maintain goodness. That's never our first go-to.
So I'm gonna put
So
this.
would you say it's a man's prerogative to keep the peace?
It's both parties' priority to keep the peace. However, in this particular instance, we're looking at two people who share a particular, in this case, we'll call it a disease, but they can connect in order to overcome the darkness. They're not looking towards the light first. They're looking towards the darkness. They're fighting the darkness. They're advancing the darkness. They're engaging the darkness. They're not looking towards the light. If they would just sit, rest, and operate in their light, they may be able to defeat what they're trying to resist.
Okay.
That's what I see.
I'm very interested to answer this question, Mahalia, when I'm about to ask you, because we see something kind of interesting. And I mentioned the fact that the guy with the glasses, the Asama with the glasses, felt so bad that he couldn't do his art that he ended up just going with the family business, going with the family thing. He had to. But it's mentioned in the episode, he says, I learned so much knowledge. I had so much intelligence to the point where my rank grew exponentially. But on the flip side of that coin, we have the ninjutsu girl, the purple girl, that he says is carefree and doesn't give a care in the world. Why do you think he got attracted to? Why was he attracted to that? And why was he attracted to the fact that she was more free than he was? And yet, it's because he wished he could be free.
Correct. You said exactly that. He wished he could be free. However, a lot of people that I've experienced in my life that wish that they could be free, they don't know how to actually be free. So you're looking at a guy who his weakness is his wish to be free. So where he was at, whatever captured him, it fed into the fact that he wished he could be free, but knew that he ultimately could not carry out the actions in order to be free, which is why it didn't go after anyone else. It only went after him.
Okay.
Because it needs that weakness. He had the major weakness. He was the weakest one of the entire bunch. Normally, when you see action movies and different stuff, when you see scientists, the scientist is usually the weakest one of the bunch. He knows how to figure out everything that's going on, but he doesn't know how to put forth action. So in this particular situation, that action overtook him, and the people who knew how to put forth action, he was in love with that girl because she knew how to put forth action, something he didn't know how to do. So you're looking at someone who knows how to put forth action, watching someone in their weakness be consumed. She may have had feelings for him before, or she may not have known she had feelings for him before, but that may have made her have feelings for him, watching him get consumed, wanting to save him, wanting to do something different. It's the American way. It's literally written as an Asian novel, but in an American theme, to where we want to save everybody. That's the American way. We come to countries that have nothing to do with us, and we want to save everybody.
With the dictation of Dante's Inferno.
You know, that we want to come through. We want to save everybody. She came through. She wanted to save. She may not even known that this man felt for her, but he got overtaken by his weakness of love. We also look at love as weakness.
Okay.
You're in love with someone, you ignore all of your social cues. You ignore all of the signs. You disregard all of these. But love is not supposed to be, I mean, so many movies, TV shows, everything, they portray love. Love is not a bad thing.
So basically you're saying...
So why are we not using it?
So you're basically saying he was blinded by his love for her. And yet that blinding by his...
Aren't we all?
We are. And he was blinded so much where he couldn't.
We are.
He couldn't fight her.
Because all he knew was her. So when that particular entity got a hold of him, it tapped into his energy of his blindness. He couldn't see anything else but his love. And it's a beautiful thing to see his eyes filled with flowers, but at the same time, it's kind of traumatizing.
Yes, very. The other thing I'm gonna bring up, and you brought this up, and you basically hit the nail on the head because you called it. You hear the Tenson dude say, "I've never heard the elixir of life. I've heard it from other people. I've heard that term from y'all before, but we don't call it that. There's no such thing as the elixir of life. It's just called Tawn." And everybody's like, "What? Wait, how?" And they were shocked by that revelation. But you called something. You said the elixir of life is what you manifest it as, what you go after, what you do.
Yes.
So
but it has to be though.
Yes.
Because honestly, if you look at it, no matter who you are, where you come from, you're always going to be your own person.
Yeah.
So what's important to you, what matters to you, the way you move forward, it's always going to matter to only you. No matter what you think, no matter how you feel, it's only going to matter to only you. So now you're on this island with these foreign people and you're trying to figure out these foreign lessons. Why would the solution not be you? Why would the solution not be everything that you've already had within you? Why not? It's easy, but it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's complicated to figure out who you are, but it's easy to know that the answer that you're looking for is within yourself. No one wants to do that work. So you're encountering beasts and monsters that want to fight you and want to confront you and want to resist, and they want to build all these obstacles. But for what?
So I'm gonna do
for
this.
What? I came here to look for one thing.
Yeah. And now you can't find it. That's true. So
you know what I'm saying? And everybody is telling me in episode 12 that what I'm looking for is not tangible. Like, it really may be within me, or it may be within someone else. So now I'm like, I've been on this island for all this time. And you're telling me that what I'm looking for is not just this physical thing I can just pick up? Okay, that's going to take a little bit more work.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave with this.
But isn't that what anime does? It makes us work for it. It
Oh,
makes
yeah.
us reach. It makes us access parts of ourselves that we're not comfortable with. But that's what anime does. I wish more people would watch anime. They would know how to manage their emotions better. They would know how to understand that what you feel is valid, what you think is valid, and you should explore those options. Anime is a crucial tool to helping humans be human, like from the top to the bottom. No matter what language it's in, no matter what fashion it's presented in, because anime is always presented in a manner that's relatable.
This is the culture of Japan.
Always.
Yep.
I don't understand why people don't watch anime more. It's so relatable. It would help us be nicer to each other if we would just look at it, listen to it, watch it, explore it, experience it.
Yeah.
Because just from these 3 episodes, I'm like, I've watched this by myself, but watching this with other people, it's giving me a completely different perspective. And I'm like, I don't need to do that. I'm in my master's program for instructional design and technology. I'm not worried about that. But I'm watching this, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, why are people not more interested into this? Like, it will give you a foundation to be like, hey, like, this is real. Spirits, energy, emotions, revelations, perspectives, it's all real. It's all real, and it incorporates into how we become productive citizens of society.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Watching this show, I'm like, we need to find the elixir of life, whatever that means for whoever that means. That is the ultimate goal.
So I'm gonna leave everybody with this, and I just need a quick. I just need a letter grade for this. Me and Chris do this all the time, and I'll say it this way: give me your grade for these 3 episodes. Just a number 1 through 10. You can do 0.8, 0.7, whatever. So Chris, Mahalia, give me your grade for this episode before we end this podcast. I'll let Chris start off first.
You first.
So for watching these 3 or shows in succession, I give it a 9.2.
And give me a quick
And that's
explanation.
only because in this explanation, we see a lot of how they try to dive into different things in 3 different episodes. However, I feel like they could have touched a little bit deeper into what they meant. Like they only touched on the surface of what they were trying to say, but as far as the time and exchanging of energies, yin and yang, it's so much more profound than what they're showing.
Yes.
So it gets a 9.2.
My turn?
Yeah, same question for you.
I would give it a 9.6, and I only give it a 9.6 because I agree with Chris. They could have touched deeper or explored deeper into these concepts in these episodes. However, I think they did a superb job of keeping it surface level, but going in depth in a way to where it didn't take people down a rabbit hole and help them understand exactly what was going on. But I also think that for me personally, when I do view anime, it speaks a lot to humans being humans. A lot of times, I feel like anime expresses emotion that we are afraid to express. So in watching these 3 episodes, I watched them work through some things. I watched them overcome some things. I watched them accomplish a few missions. And in watching that, I do feel like we can learn a lot from anime. And I do feel like we can learn a lot from the emotions that anime tries to bring forward. Because, like I said before, we are all human. These 3 episodes were great. They were straightforward. They gave us what we needed. I'm excited about this last episode, like super excited, because I feel like it's going to bring it all together. We don't have that last episode, so we don't have anything to tie it all together. But in what I've watched separately and what I've watched with you guys together, it's doing its job. It's serving its purpose. Absolutely. So if I am invited back for the last episode, I am more than happy. I am excited to be able to view that episode because I feel like we learned a lot and we grew a lot from these episodes, just within the characters and within ourselves and our perspectives and the way that we analyze this. This has been a great 3 episodes. A great 3 episodes. And we still have questions. We have so many answers, but we still have questions. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I'm really excited to see what the last episode is going to bring together. But I think this was a great collaboration.
So I'm going to say this. First of
Real
all,
thing.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to add any more to that. You heard from 2 people that probably have more anime experience than me. And I'll say that off the top. Secondly, I agree with both of y'all. These 3 episodes, and they get a 9.6. They give you a deep dive, but they also leave some things unanswered. I'm looking forward to episode 12. Mahalia, you're welcome back. You are welcome back for the next episode 13. We're looking forward to that podcast.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to leave with this.
Thank you.
When I put this up on the Spotify and on the YouTube channel, listen carefully. Because you probably got more meat on the bone than I think me and Chris could even do. So this is gonna be a really long episode.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
But I do thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
It makes a good competition.
Yes, it does.
I'm able to balance you guys' perspectives. It's wonderful.
I do thank y'all for listening. I hope you did enjoy. We'll be back next Tuesday to finish out Hell's Paradise, episode 13, to end this arc. Till next time, I hope to hear from you.
Yes.
I'll talk to you soon. See ya.
See ya.
Later.